This is a 2025 Kia Sorento Hybrid SX Prestige. And it's time for a fuel economy test. This is an updated 4th generation Kia Sorento Hybrid. So we still have the same turbocharged 1.6 liter hybrid engine, and Kia claims that we get 34 miles to the gallon in the city, highway, and combined. So I wanted to see how true that was on the highway at two different speeds, 65 miles an hour and 75 miles an hour. We do have a bit of a handicap though. It is currently 37 degrees outside, and it's fairly calm conditions, but it is definitely colder than ideal for fuel economy here. But no matter, I am going to do my usual loop. It is a little bit over 40 miles round trip, and I do loop to even out any elevation change that occurs on the trip. And if there's any prevailing winds, that'll tend to hurt us one way, help us the other way. Before we get started, let me show you a couple of things. This is how I'm going to measure fuel economy. I am going to use the trip computer. I have not reset it yet. This is from my review and everything else. That's what I'm going to reset and use right before we go. But I also wanted to show you that we've got this button right here, hybrid. I press it and I get this graphic right here. My after fueling MPG, and then what's been going on in the last 20 minutes, etc. So I'll keep an eye on this screen as well, just because I find it really interesting. So with that, let's get going. Resetting MPG now. Do that by holding this button down right here. All right. Okay, just got on the interstate, set cruise control to 65 miles an hour, and off we go. This does have highway drive assist too, by the way, which means I do have lane centering on top of everything else. And in fact, this will actually lane change for you. But this is not a sustained hands-free system. If I keep my hands off the wheel much longer, it will start complaining. So it's not Super Cruise or Blue Cruise or anything like that. Now that we've started, this is a good time to tell you a little bit about this Kia Sorento. First of all, I have already reviewed this car, and I go into a lot more detail about the powertrain and the chassis and the ride and everything there. I encourage you to check that out. I will have a link to it in the description, and it should pop up on the screen right now. We are working with a turbocharged 1.6 liter engine attached to an electric motor. We get a grand total of 227 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. The engine is attached to a 6-speed automatic transmission, which does seem low these days, but it is also using the electric motor to fill the gaps between gears, and it feels perfectly reasonable in terms of power delivery, and the ratio range and everything else is totally fine. Because this is the higher of two trims offered for the hybrid, the SX Prestige, this is standard all-wheel drive. In the EX model of the hybrid, you can choose between front or all-wheel drive. And if you choose front-wheel drive, you get 36 miles to the gallon across the board instead of 34. Advertised anyway. And in the main review, you'd hear that, generally speaking, I quite like this car. I think Kia styled the Sorento really nicely. That was a big part of the update for the 2025 model year. Exterior styling change to look more like a Telluride, frankly. And inside, you get a lot of new technology, including two 12.3-inch digital displays, one for the instrument cluster, the other one for the center display. Curved, concave a little bit. They call it the panoramic curved display, and it functions really well. And this SX Prestige has a lot of nice stuff. I've got heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats, and the second row has heated seats as well. Dual zone climate control, USB ports galore. It's just generally a comfortable place to be. It's also fairly quiet for a mainstream crossover SUV, and reasonably quick as well. And we've been on the road for a few miles now, so let's check in on MPG. Just under 6 miles in, we have surpassed 40 degrees, and we're getting 25.7 miles to the gallon. Also, check out our hybrid screen. As you can see, we have this nice little graphic here showing us what's going on. And yeah, nice graphic. The colder weather is definitely going to hurt fuel economy some. The air is literally denser, for example. But, you know, still interesting to see what kind of fuel economy we can get. You need to get places year-round after all. All right, so let's keep going. I wanted to take a moment to show you highway driving assist and the assistance screen that the Kia gives you to show you what it sees. So right here you can see my fuel economy info right here, but if I press this button right here, I now have the assistance screen, and that will show me 3 lanes of things that are going on. I am in the right lane right now. I am getting passed a lot, and that will be the case for a while at 65 miles an hour. But you can see that I have a small steering wheel that's lit green right here and a car in between 2 green lines right there. That's showing me that the steering assist and the lane centering is on. So my hands are off the wheel and it is going through a curve right now. Now this Kia system is not as smooth as Toyota's lane tracing assist, but it generally works well, and it's generally more relaxed about keeping your hands on the wheel than some systems. Some systems get really sensitive after just a few seconds. But I'll go ahead and put it back to the trip info for fuel economy, and you can see that we are up above 30 miles to the gallon. The other thing that's interesting about driving the Kia on the freeway is that you'll see peaks and dips in the fuel economy. It's not some slow, steady climb. And that's because there's this real distinct, the internal combustion engine is running, the internal combustion engine is off. So the engine's running, it charges the battery, and then it'll just shut off for a mile or two, and you'll be a pure EV. And then the fuel economy shoots up. We're generally creeping up like this, if you will. So it's interesting to watch. We're currently at 30 miles to the gallon. We are beneath the EPA number, even at 65 miles an hour. But again, the cold weather is certainly hurting. Otherwise, it's a perfectly smooth ride. I'm very happy with the ride handling compromise that Kia made with the suspension, and it's pleasant in here. And because this is the SX Prestige, I have plenty of goodies. Let me quickly show you the hybrid screen. So as you can see, we've used nearly 14 kilowatts of electric power, and our overall after refueling fuel economy has gone up from this interstate test. And you can see here, currently at the moment, we are charging the battery, and you can hear the engine running. At 65 miles an hour, the engine spins around 2,000 RPM. Okay, let's keep going. Almost to the halfway point at 65 miles an hour, and I wanted to quickly show you that we are getting 29 miles to the gallon. Okay, we'll see what we get at the end. Couple of things. First of all, it's a real nice sunrise this morning. Second of all, you might see some snow on the ground here and there. Just a nice visual clue of the temperatures I'm talking about. Third of all, the engine just shut off because the battery was just charged enough, so we are once again on EV mode only, and I wanted to quickly show you the fuel economy. So we're currently at 31.3, but it will not take long for that to pop up. 31.5 already. So when we are in EV driving mode, as we are right now, that number shoots up really quickly, and it'll sustain until the battery gets below half. And right now we're still going pretty well. We do have a 1.5 kilowatt hour battery pack, so it is on the large side for a standard hybrid. And you can see that our overall fuel economy has gone up a fair amount after refueling just from this fuel economy test. Engine just kicked on and we got to 32.1 miles per gallon. That will start dropping now. By the way, I am driving in the eco driving mode. I have been the entire time, and I will also keep it there for the 75 mile an hour test. Okay, we traveled 43.9 miles in 44 minutes and achieved 32 miles to the gallon. That is a couple miles per gallon below the EPA number, but again, with the cold weather, it's a little bit rainy, misty, a couple of spots. I'd say that's pretty well expected. We got past a lot at 65 miles an hour, but otherwise it was a perfectly pleasant trip. Now let's try 75 miles an hour. Resetting the trip computer. Okay, cruise control is set to 75 miles an hour. Off we go. Okay, nearly halfway done with the 75 mile an hour test, and we are getting worse fuel economy. Let me show you. Currently at 25.7 miles per gallon. But there is one other little feature that Kia built into its digital instrument cluster that I think is nice. Let me quickly show you. You have cameras on either side view mirror, and when you turn on that signal, you get that camera on the instrument cluster. Left turn, right turn. Okay, see what the second half brings us. I'm cautiously optimistic it'll improve for 25.7, but we'll see. Final stretch. Okay, second round is done, 75 miles an hour, and we achieved 27.9 miles to the gallon. And this is what the hybrid chart looks like. Pretty interesting chart. You can see that we did raise the overall fuel economy a fair amount. Beneath what the EPA advertises at 75 miles an hour, certainly. But again, the top temperature we reached was 42 degrees. That is way below ideal. So that definitely played a role. And it was a very comfortable experience to drive this car at both 65 and 75 miles an hour. Wind noise at 75 miles an hour does get a tiniest bit on the loud side, but completely competitive for a mainstream crossover SUV. Comfortable, all the stuff, still efficient. Not as efficient as the EPA says, but still efficient. So yeah, overall, I think the Kia Sorento Hybrid is a great SUV to have, and will stretch your dollar at least a bit when it's time to fill it up. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching.